we've got some videos from Mark Carney, and one on this particular issue that we'll get to in a second. But Mark Carney says he plans to address climate change. Specifically, I'm already ready to be embarrassed. Specifically, wildfires at the G7 when he's in Alberta. So he'll be at Kananaskis, which is like a mountain community, sort of Canmore, Banff area, which I think is chosen because it's a manageable location. There's not a lot of ways in and out for people who require a lot of security, like Donald Trump, who has been the subject of at least 2 assassination attempts. Anyways, Carney says that the wildfires, climate change is going to be a real issue. Let's hear it.
Does the Prime Minister recognize the existence of climate change? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, yes, of course, the climate crisis exists. And it's a major challenge facing our nation. And that's why Canada needs to become an energy superpower, both in traditional and green energy. And that's why in Alberta at the G7 next month, we will be holding a discussion on forest fires.
What do forest fires have to do with climate change, by the way? Well, the natural cycle of the forest.
Are they going to talk about their own negligence? Are they going to talk about their own negligence and park mismanagement that make the forest fires exponentially worse? They're going to talk about that? They're going to talk about their complicity? Yeah. I bet not. I bet they're just going to blame it on the climate, on climate change, and how using fossil fuels are making all of this worse. I bet that's the stance they're going to take.
Completely it. One of our national parks burned 30% of the town, mostly residential area, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This would have been like mismanaging the pyramids into their destruction. Like, let's put it on that scale. That's what a UNESCO World Heritage Site means. The Liberals mismanaged that for years, resulting in a fire that they could not contain because they turned away firefighters, didn't manage the pine beetle caused fuel load in the forest because it was unsightly to mechanically clear, and they put in the wrong fire hydrants.
Oh, so this is the best part of the story. Tell them about that.
So not only did they turn away expert wildland firefighters who were also trained in residential firefighting, they didn't allow the pumper trucks to pull water out of the rivers and the lakes because environment, but they put in fire hydrants in that town that only Hinton, so the next town to the east, could help with. So their pumper trucks could only hook to those. So you were limited by the firefighting capacity of Hinton. When you had all these firefighters descending, the Alberta government trying to help. Did anybody ever stop to think that fire started in the park, raged in the park, and ended once it exited the park? Why? Because of proper fire management. And the forest outside of the park, managed by the provincial government and forestry companies. Inside the park, Stephen Guilbeault's problem. And yet they're going to take the G7 and the fires from last year, and of course the ones from this year too, to, I don't know, talk about how they're going to carbon tax us in new and creative ways because the old creative way became so unpalatable for Canadians.
Yeah, Saskatchewan is also raging with forest fires right now, up north past the tree line, past Prince Albert. A pilot friend of mine posted a photo of a 75-kilometer wide fire that's raging in those beautiful lake areas of Saskatchewan. So it really is unfortunate, but it begs the question: who's managing this? Who's managing these forests before it gets to this critical point? So.
Yeah. And it's almost like this stuff has nothing to do with weather and everything to do with artificially suppressing fires in the forest, right? Like Swan Hills, it's like cyclical. It's like every 10 years it burns there. Foster Creek right now, so major oil and gas facility, is sort of being licked by fire. Fort McMurray constantly. But this is what you get when you are live in the forest. When you live and work in the boreal forest, you're exposed to fires that you wouldn't normally be exposed to. It's not to say that the fires aren't there. The fires are always there. What's new is us there. But apparently it's my comfortable SUV in the driveway that's doing all the damage. Let's move ahead. Conservative MP, and I love to say this phrase, Conservative MP Andrew Lawton rips the Liberal government for decimating Canada's energy sector. Let's listen and cheer for Andrew in his first statement in the House of Commons.
The Liberals claim they want to make Canada an energy superpower, but they forget it's their record over the last decade that has decimated our energy sector and kept our resources in the ground. Their oil and gas production cap will kill tens of thousands of jobs and cost our economy $20 billion. Their industrial carbon tax will cost Canadian businesses and consumers and make Canada less affordable and less competitive. Their legislation, Bill C-69, is blocking energy infrastructure and making us more dependent on the United States. The solution is easy. Will the Prime Minister repeal Liberals' costly anti-energy laws?
The Honourable Minister of Industry and Canadian Economic Development.
Thank you. I would like to thank first and foremost the constituents from Huntsic-Cartierville. Merci à tous les citoyens d'Huntsic-Cartierville. Know that we are in a trade war that has been launched by the US. And we know that hardworking Canadians are feeling the grunt of this trade war, particularly in the manufacturing sector, particularly in the auto, steel, aluminum sectors. And we continue to fight for them. That's why we will make sure that we invest in them, that we work on making sure that we attract the investments across the world while making sure that we grow the fastest economy of the G7.
What is she talking about? Like, she didn't even remotely address the question. Also, didn't mention canola farmers being hammered by tariffs, but that's inconvenient. That's the best the Liberals can serve up. And Andrew is a conservative backbencher. And Andrew would be he would be like a junior cabinet minister in a Poilievre government. Instead, because Toronto votes the way it does, he's sitting in the backbench, and that is a shame.
Yeah. Well, if he continues with performances like that, which was brilliant, by the way. I mean, he just put his foot on the gas pedal and gave her. He's not going to be a backbencher for long. But I agree. The way that she pivoted away from exactly what he was talking about to something completely unrelated, that is insane. I mean, this is a sham. I mean, what the Liberals are doing is a shell game. They are taking our legitimate concerns, especially from Western Canada, and pivoting it to Ontario-centric issues. And we just saw a perfect example of that there.
Right, exactly. But even she couldn't keep it in the lane because no matter what, you can't get away from Liberal failures. So when she's talking about, we want to make Canada competitive for investment, you know what doesn't make Canada competitive for oil and gas investment? Bill C-69. That's why there's no west-east pipeline being proposed, because nobody is going to propose one. Lay down billions of dollars while that piece of garbage legislation that's standing out in the field like a scarecrow, shooing all the investment to North Dakota, Texas, Oklahoma, Algeria, Iraq, all the friendlier places of the world when it comes to oil and gas investment.
Yep, and they also gave Quebec veto power over an eastern pipeline. Yes, and all of the stakeholder groups that they would involve in this. Part of the reason why it's so difficult to get our product to market is because of the regulatory burden that the Liberal Party and the Government of Canada has unfairly and disproportionately insisted Western industries must abide by. If it's not, it just seems to us that if it is not an Ontario or Eastern, aka Liberal supporting industry, well, then you don't get a seat at the table. And it's no wonder that Western separatism is increasing the way it is.